Hi, my name is Evan Orr. I'm a NRC student in the fall 2011 Dendrology course. Allegheny chinkapin Castanea pumila is in the beech family and the chestnut genus, so it resembles other chestnuts, only its leaves and fruit are much smaller. As well, they suffer the same fate as the American chestnut did with the chestnut blight. Chinkapin is a spreading shrub or a small tree reaching a mature height of 20 feet under ideal conditions. As the slide shows, the range of adaptation for the chinkapin is from northern Florida, west to Texas and Oklahoma, then north to Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland, and along the Atlantic coastal plain to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and has been planted in Wisconsin and Michigan where it has become forest trees. Chinkapins will occur in mixed hardwoods, among longleaf pine and scrub oak trees on high ridges and non-calcareous slopes. They will perform better on well-drained stream terraces in the dry pinelands and disturbed sites such as old fields, pine plantations, and clearings. They are adapted to most soil textures, but will not do well on heavy clays. They prefer full sun or partial shade. They will occur in both xeric and mesic sites on dry, rocky, sandy, or loamy soils. They are tolerant of high heat, but intolerant of coastal salt and shade. They will vegetatively reproduce in fire-maintained areas and resprout vigorously after fire top kills it. They will also regenerate after overstory removal in areas where canopy trees have outcompeted it. The twigs of chinkapin are densely tomentose when younger and become shiny brown with red tomentose buds later. The leaves are alternate and simple. They have prominent venation, are oblong with fine pointed teeth or bristles. The leaves can be up to 15 centimeters long and are tomentose on the underside. The chinkapin is monoecious with the elongated yellow to white clustered male flowers in the leaf axils, which will appear in May and June. The female flowers can be up to 3 centimeters in diameter and generally rounder, flower later in the season than the male flowers. The fruit is an armed burr and has a single nut. The fruit is similar to the chestnut, only much smaller. The nut is sweet and preferred food by most animals. The fruit mature in the fall and winter depending on the part of the country the trees are in. As you can see in these photographs, the chestnut blight with its brightly colored spores will expand at the base of the trunk of a chinkapin and eventually split it open and kill the tree. What ends up happening is you get a few large specimens, but mostly you'll have multiple smaller trunks making to form a bushy or shrubby tree. Here we have some photographs which illustrate the differences between a tree which is commonly mistaken for chinkapin or which chinkapin is commonly mistaken for, which is the sawtooth oak. While they both have similar leaves, they have many differences which become quite obvious after you start taking a look at them. Chinkapin has a tomentose underside to its leaves and has armed fruit on the end of this season's growth, while sawtooth oak is in the red oak group and has its fruit on the second season's growth. Also, the buds of the chinkapin are smaller and covered in dense red hairs, while the sawtooth oak has larger scaled buds. The other major difference between the two is in their form. Because chinkapin suffers from the chestnut blight, it will have multiple stems and probably many dead stems nearby, while the sawtooth oak will have just one stem in a nice tree form. Hopefully this will help you identify the Allegheny chinkapin in the future, but if it doesn't, here are some resources for more details.